Welcome to Management TV. Today we are with Jack Welch. He has been a business icon, the most admired CEO of the 20th century, and probably going to be the most admired CEO in the 21st century because of his revolutionary ideas. Thank you very much, Jack, for being with us today.
It's great to be with you.
We were talking about education, trade unions, about leadership, and you have new ideas on every subject. Why don't we start with your most beloved subject, the leadership?
Well, I think there's been, Eduardo, a real decline in the focus on leadership development in companies. I see it everywhere I go. Companies aren't spending the time. They're under too much pressure, the global pressures, the cost pressures, to focus enough on leadership and building players, evaluations, training, all these things that are so necessary to build great organizations. I think I have a reason why that's happening.
Why?
It's the damn computer. People are able to communicate all the time with email, giving messages by email, receiving emails, blind copying 5 people, copying 7 others, not face-to-face. It even happens in cubicles, from one to the next to the next. And people don't have that gritty conversation with people. A raise comes in for somebody. Type it, ship it out, the raise. It's happening too often. And people aren't focusing on, where are my leaders? Who are my best? Am I taking care of them? How do I build the next generation? How do I do all these things? The damn computer is depersonalizing business. You know, 30 years ago, Andy Grove and I were on a panel together in San Francisco. And I was talking about walking around factory floors and shaking hands, meeting people, talking about it. And he said, Jack, that's the dumbest thing in the world. He said, I don't do that. I send emails. I do this. And Andy Grove was a great leader. He did a great job with Intel. He had a different style. He was omnipresent. We argued like hell that day on that panel. And I think his method has won. And more people are doing these things using computers than they are the old-fashioned, nitty-gritty way. Now, I'm not trying to be old-fashioned about this. I'm talking about leadership development. How do you get in the skin of your people? You don't do it with emails. You get in the skin of your people by looking them right in the eye, being across from them, talking to them, telling them what they're doing right, telling them what they need to do to improve, coaching them, all these things. You couldn't run a football team or a soccer team with a computer.
Of course.
You've got to be there showing them, feeling it, sweating, doing it.
In communication, they say that 80% is not the words you use, but rather the body language, the emotions. And obviously through email, you lose all that. And even worse, you get misunderstandings and you feel things that are not there that could be avoided by person to person.
That's for sure in communications. But think about leadership development. You can't do it with an online program. You've got to do leadership development with your people by being with them.
The 2 pillars of leadership development, what would those be?
One would be knowing that when you're a leader, it's not about you, it's about them, your people. Always caring about how they are developing, how they are growing, how they are building, how they are encouraged to come up with ideas. That's clearly one, but there's more than 2 even. Another one is you've got to be encouraging idea flow. You've got to get your team on board with a philosophy that says there's a better way every day. How do I find it? Let's talk about that better way. Let's look outside. Let's look at other companies. Let's look everywhere. There is a better way every day. And then there's this idea to engage people. Engagement is critical. Get them with a sense of purpose as to what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what's in it for them. Not what's in it for you, not what's in it for the company, what's in it for them. Is it job security? Is it promotions? Is it personal growth? What is it? But communicate that to them.
being a great leader, is that mostly in their DNA, or you can really do something about it?
Oh, it's partially DNA. You can't be a passive person. But on the other hand, a lot of it is learned behavior.
Okay.
The ability to face into people, the ability to challenge people. People can see that can be put into people. Training means a lot. How to hire, how to fire, how to motivate, how to communicate. That's a trained skill. Now, you can't be a nerd hiding in a corner and get that. Nothing's going to happen. You can train them all day and they're going to hide. But in general, it's a good mix of learning with innate born skills.